What's up, peeps? How are you doing today? Welcome to the locker room. The locker room is sitting now right here in the White House. We're doing all kinds of things today. It's just such a big day, and I got so much to talk to you guys about. But I also have a very good friend of mine joining the locker room, and I want to introduce him right now to you guys in this locker room. Joining the locker room right now, the man. We like to talk about it. I just watched Miami on a pro day. I watch guys run fast. And when you talking about fast, you talking about my man, Ben Houselog. Gets it out fast. Ben, welcome to the locker room, my brother.
Hey,
How are you
thanks.
doing?
I'm doing great. I haven't been in the locker room for quite some time, so it's nice to be back inside of one.
Yeah, it's always nice to be in a locker room, Ben. And you knew you were coming in this locker room. You could have taken down that damn Green Bay Packer jersey sitting back there, but I ain't got no problem with it since I stomped out the Packers on my way to getting the rings. I'll leave that banter back there for you, man. But thanks for joining the locker room, buddy.
Yeah, thank you for having me, man. It's would have been nice to have a couple more world championships up there, but you made sure to not let that happen. So I got to thank you for that.
Yeah, we had some good games, buddy. We had some good games. Speaking of games, we should get into a good game right now. Winners of free agency. Ben, you go first.
I got to say, you got to go with the Las Vegas Raiders. They needed linebackers. They got it. They spent, I think, $210 million in cap. Max Crosby is indeed coming back. They have the first overall pick. They got that set up. Fernando Mendoza is just going to roll in there. They got Jalen Naylor, who is one of, if not the best in man-to-man coverage in the NFL. I think the Raiders have the absolute red carpet rolled out for Fernando Mendoza to just come in and start slinging the rock.
Yeah, and most people will say that the Raiders got one free agency, especially with the little debacle they had with the Ravens. But I want to throw out a different take because I love what the 49ers have done. The 49ers has, I think, the greatest coach right now in professional football in Kyle Shanahan. He has always won a lot of games with these peculiar, let's call them that, peculiar wide receivers. And now he get the most steady wide receiver left in the National Football League in Mike Evans. I can't wait to see what he does with that. He got to the playoffs last year with everybody hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine what he's going to do with a steady talent like Mike Evans. Losers of free agency.
Man, it hurts me to say. Oh, the Packers, man. We had a lot of cap space with everything coming due with Micah Parsons, the big end of the contract coming up the next couple of years. By the way, thank you for Micah Parsons. I just think that, I mean, Hargrave is a good D tackle, but you lost Dobbs and you lost Wilson, who's a really good RB2. And they didn't fill in as many holes on the offensive line as I really would have liked them to. Obviously, Rasheed Walker left. You see Elton Jenkins, who had a little bit of injury concerns. He was pretty good. I mean, he's a guy who could play everyone on the offensive line. He left too. Pains my heart, but I got to say the Packers lost free agency.
Man, and I'd rather stay right there in the pain of your heart because you are absolutely right. You know what I'm saying? Since your heart is hurt, let's just twist the knife a little bit, brother. You understand what I'm saying? You shouldn't have taken Michael Parsons from me. So I don't feel sorry for you. And as a matter of fact, being, I was yesterday, I was at the University of Miami Pro Day. And over at there, I was speaking with Dave Mulugeta. He came up to me. He was trying to make sure he explained to me the Michael Parsons deal, which I appreciate him coming up to me and talking about it and saying, Michael, there's some things in this deal that you did not understand, and he wanted to explain it to me. So I appreciate him for that. But I also wanted to tell you that, Ben, you're right. You guys were the losers.
Mm-hmm.
You got Michael Parsons, but you
Mm-hmm.
lost the agency. Sneaky, underrated, best signing.
I got to go with Kyler. I got to go with Kyler. You get a talent like that to go into Minnesota, who they revived Daniel Jones, they revived Sam Darnold. You get him on a veteran minimum contract deal. You get him throwing to Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison. You get him with a coach like Kevin O'Connell. And he's at the bottom, right? And Kyler Murray, when he came into the league, no disrespect to Kingsbury, no disrespect to Gannon. he hadn't been with a coach who had really established themselves in the National Football League. But now he gets to go in, and really, there's nothing but upside for Kyler Murray. You're throwing to, in my opinion, the best receiver in the National Football League, and one of the best receiver twos in the National Football League, with one of the best offensive minds in the National Football League. I think he's going to tear it up in Minnesota.
I like it. I do like it because I'm going to run the same race just on a different track. You pick Kyler Murray going over to Minnesota. I'm taking sneaky underrated best signing. I'm going to take Tua Tagovailoa going to Atlanta. And let me tell you why I like this signing, because Tua, who's been in Miami running the same offense that Kevin Stefanski ran in Cleveland, that he will run now in Atlanta, I have a Bijan Robinson back there doing the things Christian McCaffrey can do. That's going to be spectacular to see that. And for the first time, Tua gets a big receiver. He hasn't had a big receiver. He's only had the fast receivers. And fast receivers, you got to get that ball out of your hands fast. You got to get the ball in the air quickly. But you get big receivers like Drake London. Now you can play a little basketball on the football field. I'm looking for Tua in Atlanta to make some noise. Specifically signing Mike Evans, Bucks 49ers.
I think it, like you said, they hadn't really had like the guy. I mean, obviously they had Ayuk, but then he hurt his knee, and Pearsall hasn't been exactly what they had hoped. But now you get a guy who is a veteran to kind of bring those other young guys along. And you've seen it with Purdy. He's been able to get there. You have Shanahan, McCaffrey, but now you have that steady Mike Evans, who also is a big guy. And Purdy just put it up there around Mike Evans. He's going to come down with it. He may not be the guy that catches the ball, makes three people miss, but he's going to be the guy who catches the ball, and that's the most important part.
Mike Evans, who had 11 straight 1,000-yard seasons. I mean, phenomenal. And he's done it with what we said being about 11 straight different quarterbacks. And he just keep getting it done and getting it done. Now, giving him a steady dose of a great head coach, a great offensive mind, and a young quarterback who's coming into his own. Brock Purdy took another level, took another step in his development. We stopped talking about it's about the guys around Brock Purdy, and Brock Purdy start making plays and lifting guys around Brock Purdy. Now you give Kyle Shanahan to Mike Evans. He'll scheme some easy stuff for Mike Evans, and then Mike Evans to do just what you were talking about, Ben, his usual great stuff, and I believe he'll have a super season. You talked about this, the specific sign. You talked about Kyler Murray, Cards, Vikings.
I mean, if you look at Kyler Murray every step of the way, and it hasn't shown up as much in the NFL. They did have that one season where they started off 9-0. He's been a winner. In high school, he broke records in the state of Texas, and that's the football capital of the world. He went to Oklahoma, where everyone's like, oh, what are we going to do after Baker's gone? Kyler Murray stepped right in, seamless. Now he's with, finally, an offensive head coach in Kevin O'Connell, who's been established in the league. You give him Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison. I think he's going to shine.
Listen, he has talent around him. Now, you had some talent around him in Arizona. You know, when you got a Marvin Harrison Jr., and then Kyler Murray comes out and make the statement, not my job to get him the ball. Don't say that to Justin Jefferson. He will not have that. It's your damn job to get him the ball. And you better figure out how to get him the ball, because I love Justin Jefferson. He's a lot like me. He's a real competitive guy. And if you don't get him the football early, you gonna get an earful early. Don't go in saying it's not your job to get that ball to Justin Jefferson. That's exactly your job. Malik Willis, Packers, Dolphins.
Man, I mean, he showed some great stuff with the Packers, but it seems like as soon as they signed him, they let everybody go. Obviously, they just traded Waddle. Tyreek Hill's no longer there. And they did just say that it looks like A-Chain is going to stay, but man, he's the guy who has the upside, has the potential, but they have to put some other playmakers around him because he can't just throw him out there. And I think that if he has the structure around him, if he has the line, and you saw it in Green Bay when it looked like the Bears, it's over in the last couple weeks of the regular season, he came out against the Ravens, he came out, tore it up. I think he's good. I think he's the guy, but they got to get him some more help.
Yeah, and you're right. You got to get some help in the wide receiver room. I was just speaking of Miami over there with my man Daniels Jr., who played with him, and we were talking about Malik Willis. And so maybe the Dolphins will be looking in that direction to get him some help in the draft, to get him in that receiver room. But I like the signing. I like you bring over the GM from Green Bay, then you bring over the defense coordinator who's now the head coach from Green Bay, and then you bring over your quarterback right here from Green Bay. So they're making a move, trying to turn this thing into a Malik Willis offense. I can't wait to see what happens with it, but I think it's all about who they put in that room for him to throw the football to. Jaylen Phillips,
Oh man.
Eagles, Panthers.
A lot of people were talking about that contract, $120 million. But if you go deep into the contract, it's not all guaranteed money. There's a lot of stuff that he has to do to be able to get it. And the Panthers obviously needed that edge pressure. But he's a guy. He's a guy who has all the traits. And when he went to the Eagles, he got 5 sacks. And now he is now the guy. Obviously, on the Eagles, they had you can't leave Jalen Carter one-on-one. So Jaylen Phillips was able to get one-on-one outside on the edge. I think he's going to shine. I really like this signing for the Panthers, especially the way that they drew up that contract.
I was happy. He's a dude from the U, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So I was happy for him. I really wished and hoped, for me, I would like to get all the guys from the U in Miami and from Miami to Dallas, just like the path I ran. But going at least I really didn't like him being with the Eagles. So at least I got him out of the NFC East. Happy that he got his money. This young man right here is going to be a great player for Carolina in a long time. And give Carolina some credit after the season they had last year to jump in and sign guys like this to say, we are going to keep making that step forward. Jaylen Phillips is a great player. Trey Hendrickson, the Bengals and the Ravens.
I think there was stuff that came out that they were on the phone with Trey Hendrickson when Max Crosby was in Baltimore. I think that obviously they needed that edge rusher. I think that, I mean, obviously you have Lamar, who is still in his prime, in my opinion, is still the best quarterback in the league. You have Derrick Henry, who's starting to kind of age out of his prime. You have a lot of people leaving free agency, so you needed that big splash signing, and you need a guy who's going to be able to pressure the passer, especially when you have guys like Wiggins and Hamilton back there. And obviously you got Jesse Minter coming through from the Chargers, who is a great defensive mind. I think that since they didn't get Crosby, this was a home run for them, and I think he's going to do very well in the Ravens.
I concur with some things that you just spoke on. And then I ponder and wonder about other things. Like when the Ravens came out and said, yeah, we were talking with Trey Hendrickson and we wanted to sign Max Crosby. And come on now. And you might be misremembering the truth here. I don't necessarily buy into that, but something happened there. I do think they needed a pass rusher. And honestly, if they had any kind of way of getting them both, that would be absolutely incredible. But the truth of the matter is, you're going to have to get somebody to get to the quarterback in that division, while your quarterback will have to stay healthy, Lamar Jackson, and get this team over the hump. Ben, I really appreciate you, man, spending some time, taking a little time, spending time right here in the locker room, live from the White House with the playmaker, Michael Irvin. I appreciate that, buddy.
Yeah, thanks, man. This was fun.